Homelessness has sadly become a normal part of life in America. In big cities, it is almost expected that you will see someone struggling without a home, whether it is on your way to the store, heading to work, or even right outside your building. In smaller towns or rural areas, it might not be as obvious, but that doesn't mean it is any less of a problem. But the question remains, why is it so hard to solve? Americans have almost come to accept that people living on the streets is just how things are, even in one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Politicians running for office often talk about fixing this issue, but their ideas are all over the place. Some push for programs that help people get into housing, like convincing landlords to accept government rent vouchers. Others take a harsher stance, proposing laws that make homelessness a crime, forcing people into jail instead of giving them a place to live. Take, for example, Arkansas. In 2015, a report from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development painted a mixed picture of homelessness in Arkansas. While overall, homelessness was on the decline, there was a shocking rise in the number of homeless veterans. Out of the 2,560 people experiencing homelessness in the state that year, 207 were veterans, an 83% jump since 2009. Arkansas wasn't just an outlier, it had the highest increase in homeless veterans compared to 4 other states that also saw numbers climb by over 100. This spike stood in stark contrast to the national trend, where veteran homelessness had dropped by 35% during the same period. Making things worse, Arkansas's loitering laws criminalized lingering in public spaces with the intent to beg. This law, which seemed to target the homeless, faced backlash for its unconstitutional nature. In 2016, a Little Rock judge struck it down, ruling it violated the First Amendment. But the damage had already been done. Officers were accused of abusing the law, with reports surfacing of homeless individuals being kicked out of public spaces despite having valid reasons to be there. 2 men, for instance, were forced to leave a bus station, even though they had tickets showing their bus would arrive within 30 minutes. This raises a critical question in a state where homelessness persists. How do laws and attitudes shape the lives of those simply trying to survive? California. Speaking of persisting homelessness, California, home to some of the wealthiest cities in the world, also grapples with a staggering homelessness crisis. About 0.4% of the state's population, or roughly 161,000 people, are homeless. Shockingly, in 2017, California accounted for 22% of the nation's homeless, even though it's home to only 12% of the U.S. population. The numbers are even more alarming when you consider that by 2018, the state had around 134,000 homeless individuals, representing nearly a quarter of the entire homeless population in the country. The root causes? A severe housing shortage. Cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco, known for their high cost of living, have seen homelessness skyrocket. Between 2015 and 2017, the number of homeless individuals in California jumped by 15%, reaching 135,000. In Los Angeles County alone, officials reported over 58,000 homeless people by mid-2019. Many are concentrated in well-known areas like Skid Row, Venice Beach, Westlake, and downtown LA. The contrast couldn't be starker. These regions are icons of urban life, yet reflect the state's growing struggle to house its most vulnerable residents. Moving on, we have Colorado. In Colorado, about 0.2 to 0.3% of the population, roughly 10,857 people, are homeless on any given night. While the numbers might seem lower compared to other states, the issue is still significant, with Denver and Colorado Springs being home to the largest homeless populations in the state. The state also faced criticism for its high number of homeless veterans, ranking 7th in the nation in 2017. Along with that, Colorado was 8th in the US among major metropolitan areas for the number of homeless individuals overall. In response to the growing crisis, the Right to Rest Act was introduced in 2015 in Colorado, Oregon, and California. The bill proposed giving homeless people the right to sleep on public property, such as sidewalks and parks, without the fear of criminalization. Despite these efforts, the homeless population in Colorado has remained largely unchanged over the past few years. The 2018 HUD pit count recorded 10,857 homeless people in the state, signaling that while progress is made, the challenge of addressing homelessness remains persistent and unresolved. Funny enough, this next city is a favorable destination for the homeless due to its warm weather. Yep, you heard that right. I'm talking about Florida. As of January 2017, Florida had an estimated 32,190 homeless individuals. Within this group, there were 2,846 family households, 2,019 unaccompanied young adults ages 18 to 24, 2,817 veterans, and about 5,615 individuals facing chronic homelessness. While this number represents a significant portion of the state's population, it was actually a decrease from previous years. However, the COVID-19 eviction moratoriums, which ended in the fall of 2021, likely led to an increase in homelessness due to widespread evictions. In January 2020, the count was 27,487, but this was before the effects of the pandemic and the end of the moratorium began to take full effect. In Florida, Pinellas County stands out as having one of the highest concentrations of homelessness. Nearly 0.3% of the county's population, or almost 3,000 people, are homeless. This is a significant rate, especially considering the county's total population of about 1 million. Miami-Dade County, with its larger population of nearly 6 million, has a higher total number of homeless individuals at about 4,235, but a much lower prevalence of homelessness at 0.08%, closer to the state and national averages of 0.1% to 0.2%. To make matters more complicated, many Florida cities have passed laws targeting panhandling and other activities related to homelessness. These laws often impose fines or demand that people leave certain areas, like parks or benches, where they might otherwise seek refuge. With the number of homeless people on the rise and laws limiting where they can go, Florida faces a growing crisis. Finally, we have Alaska. Mental illness in Alaska has reached epidemic levels, and the state continues to struggle with managing this crisis, particularly among its homeless population. According to the United States Integracy Council on Homelessness, as of January 2018, an estimated 2,016 individuals were homeless on any given day in Alaska. Additionally, around 3,784 public school students experienced homelessness throughout the year. Among these individuals, 25 to 28% are reportedly dealing with moderate to severe mental health issues, a finding confirmed by the Mental Illness Policy Organization in a 2015 study. A major issue contributing to this crisis is the state's lack of sufficient mental health care resources. At the Alaska Psychiatric Institute, the situation is particularly concerning, with nearly half of the rooms remaining empty for several years due to a lack of funding and resources. This not only highlights the shortage of mental health facilities, but also the difficulty in addressing the growing mental health needs of the population. For homeless individuals struggling with mental illness, the situation is compounding by the challenges of navigating both physical and social disparities. Financial hardships are difficult enough for anyone, but for those with mental health issues, the stress can be life-threatening. When these individuals are arrested and processed through the Alaska jail system, it is often the only place they end up being housed. However, there is a major shortage of staff trained to handle the unique needs of mentally ill individuals in the jail system. The budgetary constraints make it even harder to provide proper care. This leaves many without the help they desperately need, exacerbating both their homelessness and mental health struggles. So, what can be done to fix this systematic problem? Let us know in the comments below what you think, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more captivating videos.